Now in today's topic, we discuss different properties of stationary wave. Property of stationary wave. When stationary wave it is generated, some particle of medium vibrate about mean position with greatest amplitude. All such particles are known as antinode, and two successive antinode, they are separated by distance lambda by 2. Suppose this is the string and free end of string, it is moved in vertically upward and downward direction. Then transverse wave is generated on the string. With transverse wave it is reflected. Reflected wave travel in a opposite direction. Both waves are identical, and therefore when such wave combine with each other, stationary waves are produced. Some particle vibrate with the greatest amplitude. All such particles are known as antinode. Here, antinodes are the particles which are vibrating with the greatest amplitude, and successive antinode, they are separated by distance lambda by 2. When stationary wave is produced, some particle of medium vibrate with zero amplitude, or these particles of medium, they are permanently at rest position. All such particles are known as node, and successive node, they are separated by distance lambda by 2. When stationary wave is generated in a medium, some particle of medium, they are permanently at rest position. All such particles are known as node. Node are the particles which are vibrating with zero amplitude, and successive node are separated by distance lambda by 2. In a stationary wave, two successive node and antinode, they are separated by distance. They are separated by distance lambda by 4. Successive node and antinode, they are separated by distance lambda by 2. Here, antinode and node, they are separated by distance lambda by 4. Next property, stationary waves are generated when two identical simple harmonic progressive waves, that is two waves which having same velocity traveling in opposite direction process each other, stationary waves are produced. Therefore, if we calculate resultant velocity of wave, then resultant velocity of stationary wave, it is equal to 0, and therefore such waves are unable to carry energy with them. when stationary waves it is generated in a medium, different looks are obtained. If we consider two particles and these particles are present in the same loop, then such particles are said to be in same phase. But suppose there are two different particles and these two particles are present in an adjacent loop, then such particles are said to be out of phase. That is, their phase difference is 180 degree. When stationary wave is generated, if we move from node to antinode in a loop, then we observe that amplitude of vibration goes on increasing. On the other hand, when we move from antinode to node, then amplitude of vibration goes on decreasing. Displacement antinode are said to be pressure node. And displacement node are said to be pressure antinode. These are different properties of stationary wave. Now we define what is linear density of string. Linear density. Linear density, it is defined as mass per unit length of string. It is known as linear density. If mass of string it is divided by length of string, then this ratio it is known as linear density of string. Mass of string divided by length of string, it is known as linear density. Now, unit of linear density, it is a kilogram per meter. And dimension of linear density, m to the power 1, l to the power minus 1, p to the power 0. This is dimension of linear density. Now we calculate relation between density of string and linear density. Now we know density of string, as usual, it is given by formula mass of string upon volume of string. It is equal to density. Density, it is denoted by symbol rho. And mass of string, suppose mass of string it is denoted by m dash. Volume of string, shape of string is cylindrical and therefore volume of string it is equal to area of cross section into length, it is equal to volume, and therefore density it is equal to mass upon volume. Now from this equation we get mass of string it is equal to density into volume, and suppose this is equation number 1. Now linear density. Linear density means mass of string upon length of string, it is equal to linear density. Now if we take cross product, then we get mass of string, it is equal to linear density into length, and suppose this is equation number 2. Now equation number 1 and equation number 2 represent mass of string, and therefore equating equation number 1 and equation number 2, we get M into L, it is equal to rho into area into L. Length of string gets cancelled, and therefore linear density, it is equal to rho into area, and area of cross section, it is equal to pi r square. Now from equation number 3, we can say that linear density depends upon two different factors. Number 1, it depends upon density of material, as well as it depends upon area of cross section. It is independent on length. It depends upon two different factors. First one, it is the density of material, and second one, it is equal to area of cross section. Now suppose this is the string. One end of string, it is connected to the rigid support. Suppose string pass over a metal pulley. Pan, it is connected to the second end of string, and let us consider a certain mass is added to pan. Suppose M represents mass added to the pan. Therefore this string, it is under tension, and tension of the string, it is given by formula T, it is equal to mg, where M, it is the mass added to the pan. This string, it is under tension, and that tension, it is given by formula mg. Now suppose we plunge the string, then transverse wave is generated on the string. This transverse wave, it is reflected from the boundary. Now reflected wave travel in the opposite direction and process the same particle, and therefore stationary wave is generated. Now we write expression for velocity of transverse wave produced on the string, and that is given by V, it is equal to under root of T upon M. This is expression for the velocity of transverse wave produced on the string. D, it is equal to under root of T upon M, where T, it is the tension, and M represent linear density of string. M, it is a linear density of string. Now we calculate fundamental frequency of vibration. Fundamental frequency of vibration. Now we define fundamental frequency. Lowest possible frequency with which string can vibrate about its mean position, it is known as fundamental frequency. Smallest frequency, minimum frequency with which string can vibrate about mean position, it is known as fundamental frequency. Or when minimum number of loops are obtained on the string, then frequency of string, it is said to be fundamental frequency. When minimum number of loops are obtained on the string, then frequency of string, it is said to be fundamental frequency. Now minimum number of loops depend upon boundary condition. Now we calculate boundary condition for the string. Now in figure, suppose this is string and it is connected between two rigid support. One endpoint of string, it is denoted by A, and another endpoint of string, it is denoted by B. We observe one endpoint, it is in contact with metal surface. Also, second endpoint, it is also in contact with metal surface. Both endpoints are in contact with metal surface. Therefore, when stationary wave is generated, A point as well as B point, they are unable to vibrate freely about their mean position. That is, amplitude of vibration at point A and B, it is equal to 0. And center of string can vibrate with the greatest amplitude. Therefore, now we write boundary condition. We observe node is obtained at one end as well as node is obtained at other end. Depending upon this boundary condition, in fundamental mode, we observe only one loop is obtained. That means we can define fundamental frequency by using another definition. When one loop is obtained on the string, then frequency of string, it is said to be fundamental frequency. Now consider one loop is obtained on the string. Center can vibrate freely. Therefore, antinode is obtained at the center and node is obtained at each end. Now let us consider length of string, it is denoted by L. Now we know successive node, they are separated by distance lambda by 2, and therefore we can equate length of string, it is equal to length of one loop. Successive nodes are separated by distance lambda by 2, therefore L, it is equal to lambda by 2. And hence we can write lambda, it is equal to twice L. Lambda, it is equal to twice L. This is expression for wavelength, and therefore now frequency or fundamental frequency can be written as N, it is equal to V upon lambda. V means what? Velocity of either transverse wave generated on the string, and it is equal to under root of T upon M. Now lambda, it is equal to twice L, therefore N, it is equal to 1 upon twice L under root of T by M. This is the expression for the fundamental frequency with which string can vibrate about its mean position. This is the lowest frequency with which string can vibrate about its mean position. Now we discuss different law of vibrating string. Fundamental frequency of string, it is given by formula, and it is equal to 1 upon twice L under root of T by M. Now, first law, It is known as law of length. If tension in the string it is kept constant, as well as linear density of string it is kept constant, then we observe n it is equal to constant into 1 upon L. That is fundamental frequency. It is inversely proportional to vibrating length. This is known as law of length. Fundamental frequency of string, it is inversely proportional to the length of vibrating string. Greater is the length, smaller is the frequency. Smaller is the length, greater is the frequency. If we plot graph of frequency on x-axis versus reciprocal of length on y-axis, then nature of graph, it is found to be straight line passing through origin, which indicates fundamental frequency, it is directly proportional to 1 upon L or inversely proportional to vibrating length. This is law of length. Now second law, it is known as law of tension. Fundamental frequency, it is given by formula 1 upon twice L under root of T upon under root of M. Now if length of string it is kept constant, linear density of string it is kept constant, that means we can write n it is equal to constant into under root of T, and therefore we can write fundamental frequency of vibration, it is directly proportional to square root of tension. Frequency of vibration, it is directly proportional to square root of tension. Again, if we plot graph of tension on under root of tension on y-axis and frequency on x-axis, then nature of graph, it is straight line passing through origin, which indicates that fundamental frequency, it is directly proportional to square root of tension. Third law, it is known as law of linear density. Third law, it is known as law of linear density. If length of string it is kept constant, linear density of string it is kept constant, that means fundamental frequency can be written as 1 upon twice L into under root of T into 1 upon under root of M. That means we can write n it is equal to constant into 1 upon under root of M. Hence we can write fundamental frequency, it is inversely proportional to square root of linear density. Fundamental frequency, it is inversely proportional to square root of linear density. But we know that linear density, it is equal to pi r square into L, pi r square into rho, and therefore now we discuss law of density. Now we discuss law of density. From this equation we can write fundamental frequency, it is inversely proportional to square root of density. When T, tension of the string, length of the string and radius of the string, they are kept constant, then fundamental frequency, it is inversely proportional to square root of density. Now, next law, it is known as law of radius of cross section. Fundamental frequency, it is directly proportional to reciprocal of radius, where r, it is the radius of cross sectional area. When linear density, when tension of the string, length of the string and radius of the string, density of the string, they are kept constant. These are different laws of vibrating strings.